Welcome to the second viewing. My name's Dan.
And I'm Kyle. And here we are again talking to you guys about a great film that we're not going to watch once. We're going to watch twice.
Because as we do on the second viewing, we watch things twice so you can listen once, guys.
That's how we do things around here. That's how we like to make it happen. That's how we like to prolong this hour-long or so program for you guys out there. And doing that, we like to start things off with introducing the film this week and just talking about our initial thoughts on it. And this movie this week, Daniel,
we've been looking forward to for a while now.
In fact, I think you've even mentioned it on past off the cuffs.
I've
to
been
the point that we have already done it in your head, but we haven't.
Exactly. I'm excited to fucking watch this one, really, because I've only seen it once and I want to watch it for a second time.
Yeah, no, it's a great
I've
film.
been waiting to see it, and this film this week is, of course, The Nice Guys.
Yes, the 2016, I guess, buddy cop comedy.
Buddy cop comedy, that's the best way to put it.
Starring our buddies, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
It's not Chips, guys. Don't worry.
I forgot about Chips.
It's not that other movie, Cops.
If anyone else saw Chips, put that in the comments. I actually want to know what people thought about that.
It's actually just set yourself on fire.
I don't think anyone saw Chips. So, not much fire in the comments today, I guess. We'll put it that way.
Hey.
Moving on though, before we get into the film on the podcast here, we often like to bring up some things we've been watching, some things we've seen recently, something we might want to talk about, whether it's something we've mentioned on sister programs like Off the Cuff or things we watch on television, anything like that. That's what we like to do right now. So Daniel, is there anything you want to bring up to the people out there that you've been watching or enjoying?
I guess I have a couple of things. First of all, I recently watched Lost in Translation again.
Great flick.
Which is a Sofia Coppola movie. Am I saying that right?
Coppola
movie. And that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, dude. I think I might have brought this up in this very segment a couple months ago. It's a good movie to revisit.
I think because you brought it up is why I watched it again recently. So I've seen the movie quite a few times now. For sure 3 or 4. Great movie.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. Yeah, I mean, what did you think this time around?
Well, it makes me want to go back to Japan first and foremost again.
Fun fact, me and Daniel went to Japan together 7 years ago. Do you believe that?
7 years ago? Was it really
7
that
years
long?
ago, yeah, 7 years ago.
Holy fuck.
We went there on a exchange program through our high school. Shout out to Bethlehem. Not the country or the city. I don't know geography.
I think it's the capital of Jerusalem.
Dang, you're bringing up the facts.
I'm not sure. Someone's gonna fact check.
I think that's correct. I don't know anything about anything, guys. No, it was a school trip. Basically, we went there for the summer for 10 days.
Good. I guess. Yeah. Did we participate in group events? Nah.
Who was asking though? That's what I'm saying. Fuck them.
Right.
We threw shit out of a window and watched it fall.
Not actual feces, guys. Just.
Hey, I don't know.
Trash.
Anything goes in Japan as far as I'm concerned.
They cleaned it up in 20 minutes. It was actually unreal. A beautiful city.
Yeah,
beautiful city. There's always something to, and that's what this movie did for me. Was it reminded me that there was always something to find in the city, which kind of I'm learning. I'm slowly learning that even about our small city of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Name drop.
There is a few. There's some little nooks and crannies that you learn about here and there.
I think that's the beauty of it, right? That's the idea of finding depth and simplicity kind of thing, it's like looking to something.
Depth and simplicity, I like that. That's beautiful.
Well, that's Sofia Coppola's kind of shit. That's her shtick.
Right.
I know. I'm fucking with you on that. Anything else you've been checking out?
The last couple of things that I'll mention, and not that I've been checking them out, but that I'll mention is, first of all, we're looking forward to Game of Thrones, not because we're looking forward to Game of Thrones, but because we're looking forward to getting Game of Thrones fucking over with.
Dude, I've been telling this over and over again. It's not even going to be done this season, so you need to just chill.
God damn it. Well, I'm looking to get this next year's worth of discussion because every single person you walk by on the street is did you see fucking
the trailer?
Did you see that Dragon Lady's tits again? Yeah, they were great.
Daenerys, she's cool. Not my favorite character though, by any means.
No.
Actually, I don't even know
her
who
tits aren't even my favorite character.
I haven't seen her tits in 6 seasons. I forgot there was her tits everywhere.
I think they were in the last season. She walks out of a burning... Spoilers.
Not that memorable, I'll be honest.
She walks out of a burning building naked because the fire burned all her clothes, but she was fine because she's the Dragon Lady.
Classic Daenerys.
Classic Daenerys.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I mean, Game of Thrones is one of those shows where I always just, wrote it off as, bullshit. I was I'm never going to fucking watch this. It looks dumb.
Started watching it. You did, and you stood true to that for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I was just not into it. Then I don't know. I just for some reason I watched episode 1 and 2, fucking hooked. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
And the last thing I'll mention is Rick and Morty. I'm looking forward to that kicking off here.
Right.
Probably by the time this episode is released, it should be, I think, July 14th is when.
Oh, also, can we do a birthday shout out really quick? Shout out to our main girl, Mackenzie Porter. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, girl.
Yeah, quick birthday shout out.
Much love.
Also, Drew's in the house. Drew, do a quick birthday shout out.
Kenzie.
There you go. We got it.
Hey, our boy Drew.
Yeah. It's a variety of fun here at the second viewing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do a lot of fun things.
So yeah, that's the. I guess I'm
been doing it.
Looking forward to getting Game of Thrones one step closer to being over with. I'm looking forward to Rick and Morty, and I did watch Lost in Translation. What about you, Kyle? What have you been watching?
Those are some solid fucking suggestions. I gotta say.
I think it's definitely on the radar.
I haven't been watching a ton of stuff in all honesty. Saw Spider-Man. I'll just plug our off the cuff. Check it out. I think Spider-Man's watching.
Totally.
Not only is our episode on it worth watching, but also the film definitely worth watching. I was into it. It's good to see a good Spider-Man around. Baby Driver briefly brought it up actually.
Right, I didn't bring that one up either. Yeah.
Podcast, but yeah, that's a good flick. It's good to see something a little different coming out nowadays. And the one thing I'll mention,
a little round of applause for originality on that one, guys. Well done.
I'm actually
there's some minor originality.
If you guys were to go to a podcast he made last year on the movie Drive, kind of the same story.
It's kind of okay. It's a mix between Drive and Guardians of the Galaxy, which you haven't seen.
I'm with you on that. I get it, and I mean I'm not trying to shit on the movie, and I do like the film. I'm just like, in my mind, everyone always says, "Oh, it's the fucking most original movie I saw in the past 15 years."
That might be fair.
I'm kind of like no on it because it's like Drive is the same movie. Do I like the film? Yes, but I'm not praising it for originality.
Well, huge different. Like they've got massive tone differences, but
it's true.
Yeah.
Different tones, different stories, but at the end of the day, original, not necessarily. I'm just gonna go hot take on that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm gonna say it's like. It's pretty close to being It's like
Drive, dude. It's like Drive.
It's like Drive.
And not that that's a bad thing, because Drive's a fucking great movie. I'm just saying...
I want to give it props for really trying something that maybe we haven't seen on the big screen in a while.
Right. And, you know...
Is that better than saying original?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I just don't think... I think there's better things in the movie to praise than its originality. That's how I'll put it.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll mention, in the theme of you mentioning Sofia Coppola, I recently saw The Beguiled, which is her latest film.
Right. Which I've yet to see.
This is a fucking standout film of the year for me right now.
You have mentioned this. You've also mentioned your Letterboxd score to me, which has been intriguing.
Well, it's only a 4 out of 5.
Only a 4 out of 5. Have you given higher than 4 out of 5?
Yes, yeah. Baby Driver got a 4, and actually so did Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's been a good fucking month.
So they both got 4 out of 5.
All 3 of these films got 4s. All the ones
But have you given anything over a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd?
Yes. Perfect Blue and Perfect fucking
4.5. Nothing a perfect 5.
No. Perfect Blue got a 5 out of 5. I think that's one of the best films ever made. I'm actually going to go ahead and say that.
Wow.
No,
we talked about that at one of our previous podcasts.
I would recommend that. But just speaking on Beguiled, but I guess also if you want to check out our Letterboxd, go to letterboxd.com/TSV.
Perfect time to plug. Yeah. Hashtag PPP.
Yeah, check that out.
PTP.
Yeah, I'm down to it. Yeah, Beguiled. It's great, like a Western or a Southern Gothic kind of film where it's like this Baroque kind of look to it. Everything has this very elegant feel and calm feel that is common in a Sofia Coppola movie, but it has this kind of tension, almost reminiscent of a thriller or a light horror film. By no means is it a horror film, but it has these, almost like the movie Green Room, I'd say, actually, without a lot of violence.
Okay, so like thriller aspects?
Yeah, thriller aspects. And although that's not like the main feature of the film, it really does lend to the film.
Okay.
And you get a lot...
Dark undertones.
Yeah, dark undertones, and you get to really know these characters that are in the movie, like all of them, very well, and you get a kind of... get a good grasp of the world in itself. And it's great characters studies, not just one character, but multiple characters. And you don't see that a lot in film.
And I really like that. I guess that's fairly reminiscent of Sofia Coppola, right?
It's the thing where she's great at telling stories of the female perspective, and that's just a great example of that. And it's contrasted beautifully with Colin Farrell's character. And Colin Farrell, yet again, is fucking killing it. Guys,
Colin Farrell's back.
He's slowly becoming one of my favorite actors. If you would have talked to me 5 years about Colin Farrell, I would have told him, oh, is he alive? I thought he overdosed on heroin outside of like a Dublin alley. But nah, dude, fucking murdering it. Also, shout out to Killing of a Sacred Deer coming out later this year. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I think we all are, really.
But that's pretty much it for me. Just things I've seen recently and also I'll put it that way. But now let's get into the film of the week. The
Of
Nice
course,
Guys.
remember, guys, it is The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
So, this film stars Russell Crowe
Yes.
and Ryan Gosling as buddy cops in a fun comedy action adventure.
Yeah, and it's directed by Shane Black, who in the way is kind of like the godfather of like buddy cop movies. I mean, he's done Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 1.
Lethal Weapon is kind of a classic buddy cop
Exactly.
comedy, actually.
So, I mean, in a way, he Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, you know, he's done these films that kind of started the genre in a way, you know?
Right.
And, or he's written these ideas and he's kickstarted this way.
I gotta say, this movie overall is a really fresh take on that.
Well, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's kind of like the Westerns in my mind, where it's like something being set in a Western era isn't necessarily a new idea, but when you haven't seen it for 20 years and it comes back, it feels fresh.
Exactly.
And that's kind of how I feel about this, where it's like, sure, we have great buddy cop movies to go back on and watch from like the late 80s, early 90s, but we haven't had one in a very long time, unless you're trying to watch like Cop Out or whatever the fuck that shit is.
Yeah, and nothing that fits to, nothing that's catered to a modern era.
Or even of a high quality, honestly, because there have been
Right.
buddy cop movies coming out. Even think of Rush Hour films from like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Buddy cop movies, basically. I mean, some people like them, some people don't. Rush Hour 3, very questionable film. I would not recommend.
Agreed.
But Rush Hour 1 and 2, very good.
And you know what? A lot of practical effects in this, not a overload of fucking CGI. So in my mind, that means something that will likely stand the test of time for quite some time.
Well, and it's all about charisma with this film. Like, I just remember these characters being so fucking likable or so fucking hateable. It was just a fun time to see them perform on screen.
And actually, there's an interview with Ryan Gosling where he talks about an interview with Russell Crowe, where Russell Crowe talks about how him and Gosling shared so much of a similar opinion of movies that they would sit there and talk about the intricacies of each scene. So the example he gave was and this is a spoiler, and is not a spoiler at all. There's a scene, and I think it's even in the trailer. Ryan Gosling is on the toilet, and he's trying to grab his gun while his pants are down, and he's trying to hold the door with his knee of the stall open to point the gun at Russell Crowe, because at this point they haven't become buddies.
That's so
and
good.
I apparently that scene took a long time to film, because Gosling didn't know how many times he should try to swing the door open and how he should react with the gun up, and once it was up, and having the smoke in his mouth and dropping the smoke in his pants, and all of these things were something that took them a long time to discuss. So I thought that was kind of neat.
I got 2 comments on that. 1, great multitasking.
I agreed.
And 2, awesome physical comedy, honestly. Very subtle physical comedy. It's nothing that's like gross out gags or being obscene. It's well, there's a level of gross out to a degree,
Actually,
but very subtle. Very subtle.
Physical comedy that reigns true throughout the whole movie, right?
That's true, and it's like you're talking about practical effects. There's action scenes and there's stunts, I guess, in this film, but they're all done very under wraps. They're not that extravagant, and they're very in place with the scene, and they make sense.
They're not very Michael Bay.
No, you're not getting some crazy fucking over the top Transformers robotic explosions going on. No, you're not getting none of that here. You're getting some honest, pure dialogue. You're getting some honest, hilarious action stunts, and
It feels very practical and relatable in a lot of ways.
Like when I remember this film, I honestly remember it more of a comedy than I do an action film, to be honest.
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, in all honesty, I don't remember specific lines a whole lot.
Its backbone seems action, but its edginess seems comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of get how would you put it? When you have the older figure and the younger figure, where you have Russell Crowe's kind of been through the wire for years and years, and Ryan Gosling's kind of the younger guy. He has a daughter to take care of, and you kind of get that funny interaction with them too. Basically being opposites, but yet the same person, you know, and it really works. Same
person in different stages of their life.
Yeah,
Russell Crowe's already been through a divorce and is and Ryan Gosling is raising a daughter.
Yeah, he's a single father, and I don't know. It's the kind of film where they don't even delve into that aspect a whole lot. It's more or less like there are some family moments, and when they're brought up, from what I remember, them being they were very pivotal to the film in the way that it's not like trying just to shoehorn these aspects of the family in. And I'm talking about the daughter more so in particular. Yeah. Her moments in the film are there for a reason, and they have agency, and they come up when they feel necessary in a lot of ways. And that's what really works.
Her character is really well developed. It doesn't feel out of the blue.
No,
it actually feels really well placed.
Who's the daughter in this?
I don't know. While you look that up, I'm going to give a basic plot synopsis of this movie. First of all, a PI played by Ryan Gosling teams up with Russell Crowe, who at this point in the movie when we meet him is basically what would you call him? Not a hitman. He doesn't kill people, but he essentially takes care of problems for money, usually with physical violence. Yeah,
he doesn't call himself a hitman, but it kind of sounds like
one. He kind of sounds like he's the guy you give $90 to beat up your neighbor because he's playing the music too loud or something like that. But you get the impression right off the bat that Russell Crowe is no scumbag about it and likely beats up the guys that probably deserve it. And they end up crossing paths, not very fortunately to begin with, but become close and search out or seek out. They head out together to find the daughter of a higher up in the government.
Yes,
the Department of Defense.
They're speaking to just like I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it's like
somebody in the defense district of.
You guys got to know that we've only seen this movie once, so when we're giving you a very brief synopsis, and we don't know the details.
It's been a while since we've seen it for sure.
Also, we don't like to spoil the first half. On this first half, we don't like to spoil it, so during the break, you guys can go pause it, go watch the film, and come back. We like to recommend that. But you're right, Daniel. More or less, we kind of have these two ex-hitman, current hitman teaming up together to achieve one goal, I guess.
And the goal, ends up being find the girl and solve the underlying case of why she's gone and what she's doing. Kind of thing.
And things take some interesting turns. I remember this film kind of going in not a completely different direction, but the plot went to a direction I didn't quite expect in the third act. And I liked that about it.
Yeah, it was not unpredictable, but it also wasn't predictable, which I think fresh is a good way to describe it because it was. Yeah. It felt like a buddy cop comedy. It had all the elements. Things fit together well. Pacing was strong.
A lot of this film, I think, a lot of his film's successes, I think, come on the fact that it's such a 70s film in 2016. Like, the costume design is fantastic. The music is fantastic. The set design is fantastic. The look and feel that we're actually in 1976, it feels so realistic to me.
And the ability to use a cell phone that we all take for granted now, where these guys would be sitting at a payphone trying to make a call, and oftentimes being connected to a call and hanging up because they see the person they might be looking for walking down the street.
Yeah, and you
kind of thing. It's exactly what we talked about before. More physical comedy, right? Because
and you can't even see like, how do I put this? You kind of see like the drama of the times there, or you see the comedy of like these 70s cliches and tropes that are kind of reused, but also done in a really funny way that you don't see very often.
Yeah.
And it does feel fresh. And it's, I mean, we were talking about Baby Driver just recently saying like, hey, I wouldn't praise it for it being original. I would feel the same way about this movie in a lot of ways, because it's definitely not original, but it does something familiar very well. And it does something very familiar in a way that feels brand new. And I think that is such a feat in itself.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, I like the way that they paint the picture of how, for example, the interactions between people, how they might be different in the 70s versus today. Oftentimes today you walk by a person on the street, you won't even fucking look them in the eye. You'll pull up your cell phone because it's weird not to be doing something while you pass someone on the street.
Truth.
Right? For some people it is.
Hashtag truth bomb.
But back in the 70s, I mean, the only thing you knew was basically passing someone on the street, the only thing you knew was person-to-person communication, apart from the 2 phone calls you might make a day.
Right,
Not the in today's day and age, the 500 texts you might send in a day, right?
Dang, you're sending 500 texts in a day?
I'm making I don't know, maybe
Dude,
50
if you're sending 500
max.
texts in a day, like not just you but anyone out there, take it fucking easy.
Take a seat there, Bucky.
Just like not even take a seat, just like take a deep breath. Put the phone down for a minute. Maybe grab a sody pop. Just chill for a second.
Get a sody pop. But that's my point is that back in the 70s, you would have been so used to passing a guy in the street that said fuck you that when he said that, you wouldn't get up in arms about it. You'd be like, fuck you too, walk away. Whereas today you walk by somebody who says fuck you on the street and you kind of go, I'm thinking about calling the officers over to arrest you. This is invading. You know what I mean?
I actually don't believe you would do that.
I think no, I don't think anyone would do that. But
I get it. There's
I
more,
think
there's
that
a level of confrontation that occurs.
Well, it was more consistent, more personal back in those days. I think it's a little bit different now. I don't know. I think.
Yeah. I see what you're getting at.
And they paint that picture really well. I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it's there.
I would say
movie.
it's especially in the character of Ryan Gosling, where he's kind of, I wouldn't even quite call him hot-headed. He's more so just like quick to shoot the gun. He's so
right.
He has like a short, not even a short temper.
Short fuse.
Short fuse. I'd say that, not necessarily in a negative way. It's just he's very quick. He's very fast. He's very agile in what he's doing, and I think a lot of that comes down to what you're talking about, in the way that his reaction to a lot of situations is fast. It's fast moving, and sometimes it feels irrational, and other times it feels warranted.
Yeah,
and that's definitely a positive of his performance, and like, this is the kind of film that I wasn't expecting for it to be as enjoyable as it was. It looked great, honestly. It looked like a really interesting film, but it also looked like a film that I would just maybe fucking forget about and never want to, never, even if I liked it, I would just forget about it.
That's something we should talk about too, is because I think the marketing campaign behind this movie was sadly poor.
I don't know, though. I think it came down to the release. I was thinking about this earlier.
So?
Because this movie came out in May, which is right at the beginning, or even the heart of, in some way, blockbuster season.
Right.
And it's not the kind of film to put out in May. Because I was in Toronto when this film was being promoted last year. And I remember seeing huge fucking billboards for this thing everywhere, actually.
Really?
It was like these huge things of like Russell Crowe and
I thought it was an indie film for so long because I saw so little about it.
Definitely not. No, this is a larger budget film. 50 million, only made back 57. So it obviously lost money on those fucking billboards, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just the kind of thing where, we make fun of January and February. It's like, hey, fuck you, it's January. Red Letter Media always does that shit. And there's truth to that, where it's like you're putting shit movies out at the beginning of the year because that's the only time anyone's going to watch shitty movies.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of film that you might have wanted to put out around March, when like Logan was coming out this time of year. You know what I mean? Like,
it would have broken up the tension of these more serious
and
films.
I think it coming out near the time where like, I guess like Civil War was like 2 weeks later, I think, or like the week later.
Right.
It's just kind of, people are wanting to watch their blockbuster films, their Transformers, their Marvel films. It was clouded
by some big releases, and it didn't play the right part.
And it's too bad because, it's a Warner Brothers picture too, so it had that push, it had the push.
It's a quality film. Like, it's a really good film. It might be one of my favorite films of 2016.
I think it made your list. I can't clarify that. I think it did.
I think it might have, yeah.
I think it might have been like number 9 or 10 or something like that. Like, I can't remember. Don't quote me on that.
We're going to have to go back and check that, but...
Well, Peep Game on our Best of 2016 podcast that came out last year. That's great.
Peep Game on that Oscar
cast. Also, somewhat spoiler, we'll be having Best of 2017 so far episode coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. But maybe before we get too deep into the plot, into the film itself, we'll take a break here. And we'll come back after we've seen the film for the second time. And we'll talk to you guys about what was better, what was worse, things we found interesting, things we found, maybe lackluster, all that stuff. Pretty much that we're gonna explore a little bit more in depth this time around on the Nice Guys here after the break.
And we're back, folks. We've just taken a second look at the movie The Nice Guys.
Yeah, it was a thrilling ride, you could say. That being said, it was super fucking late at night when we watched it, as per usual. But, you know, that's neither here or there. It's one of those things where we've seen the movie before. We know what it's about. We're here to tell you what we really thought about it this time around. Get into the nitty-gritty about it.
I think we might as well jump right into this, and I kind of want to say spoilers alert right off the
definitely.
bat.
As per usual.
Just so we can discuss it a little bit more. Yeah, as per usual, second viewing usually, guys, or the second half of these podcasts is always a spoiler.
Yeah, we like to welcome you to spend the breaker, which, I mean, it's only like 10 seconds, but that's fine. Pause it there and go watch the movie and come back. That's what we like to recommend. So even at this point, if you haven't, now we're here.
Okay. All right. So let's break down the movie a little bit. First of all, it stars our boy, Ryan Gosling. From Drive, from Crazy Stupid Love.
He's a Canadian, so like you got to spread that hashtag Canada 150 love for him.
100%.
Out there, that's really nice.
Yeah, dick's out for Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I mean, honestly, actually, pretty fair.
I think dicks are out for that guy.
Yeah, that's actually.
He's kind of killing it.
Like right after Harambe comes Ryan Gosling.
Exactly. Yeah. Dicks out for Harambe, and then Ryan Gosling.
He was on Breaker High. Did you ever watch Breaker High?
No, I don't know what Breaker High is. Sounds like a Degrassi ripoff.
It kind of is, actually. Imagine Degrassi, but on a boat, precursing to the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Why would it be on a boat?
What's it called? What's the...
Sweet Life on a boat. Sweet Life on deck. Nice.
We have our good friend Mackenzie part of the studio
Shout out to Mac with the fact checks. Appreciate you, girl.
That's pixo.com/magattack77. But yeah, so precursing Sweet Life on Deck was Breaker High. The kid, he also was in like Goosebumps episodes back in the day.
Okay.
Because Goosebumps was technically a American like published show, but it was produced in Canada actually.
Oh, that's neat.
Which is a fun fact. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like just honestly, as a Canadian to a degree, I've always seen the guy, whether I knew it or not.
Exactly.
He was always in shit.
That's why dicks are out.
Yeah, many dicks.
Also, Russell Crowe plays his buddy in this fun buddy cop comedy. Yeah. I'd say one of the better comedies of 2016.
Definitely. I mean, actually, probably one of the better comedies in a fucking while.
It's very true.
Like,
also,
I can't think of the last like honest comedy I saw.
I think 21 Jump Street was the last decent one that I saw.
Right. Or Baywatch. Remember Baywatch? We watched that. Talked about it. There's an episode. You click on it. It's probably.
I forgot about that movie, but now I'm reminded. Remember that time when we said we were going to forget?
Oh, actually, don't forget Snatched. Damn, we've seen some fucking terrible comedies this year.
Remember that time when we said we would forget Snatched, Fist Fight, and fucking, what's that other one I forget already? We said we would forget them, and here we are talking about them.
I mean, this isn't really good for the audio, but...
Don't do it! Don't fucking do it!
For those at home who are wondering, this is a full-size Snatch poster.
If you guys were wondering why Amy Schumer's... Honestly, if you were curious about Amy Schumer's vagina, this is the movie for you.
It smells like soup, apparently, but she won't tell you what kind of soup.
Yeah, it's an autobiography on her vagina.
And sadly,
her cooch, her fanny.
She sadly brings Goldie Hawn into the situation. Who doesn't deserve it?
Goldie Hawn does not deserve it. And actually, Goldie Hawn is the saving grace of that movie. But it is not the movie we're talking about, so put that fucking poster away and let's talk about the nice guys.
Like, that was good timing, though. You have to give me that, right?
It was good timing. I was wondering what that poster was in the corner of the studio here.
It's been snatched for a couple weeks now.
That's fucking horrible. It almost breaks my heart. But
should we replace Green Room with Snatched? They're of the same quality, I'd say.
Oh, for sure. For sure they are.
No, but in all seriousness, Nice Guys, like, legitimately a great comedy.
It is a great comedy. We do have a couple of gripes and some comments, which we'll get into in a second, but I kind of want to reiterate the plot first quick.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, this gets into my first gripe, but go right ahead.
It's a buddy cop comedy. It's a simple buddy cop comedy. The sort of dynamic between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling is really good, I think. And I guess that's it.
Well, just more so like of the plot, like what actually happens, like
right. So Russell Crowe is kind of he's not you can hire him on the side to kick someone's ass.
They're both almost hitmen, but not actually.
And Ryan Gosling is an amateur PI, and when they kind of team up, they're able to solve a very big time case, which launches them into a relationship to which they're not fond of each other at first. By the way.
Yeah, like they have that. that torn relationship where they neither want to be friends or no, they don't really also want to confide in one another.
Mind you, the
but yet
relationship
they work together well.
Exactly, the relationship starts with Russell Crowe fucking kicking Ryan Gosling's ass.
Yeah, and
So,
there's I think we might have brought this up in the first episode, but there's just a lot of good physical comedy in this movie.
Yeah, that's what really sticks out. Even on the second time is the physical comedy.
Totally, and it's subtle, and it's not like gross out like physical comedy. It's not like someone getting kicked in the nuts and then like, hey, you got kicked in the nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like that.
Bullshit.
It's actually like there's a setup and a payoff for why Russell Crowe beating up Ryan Gosling is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
And why Ryan Gosling getting beat up is fucking funny because there's a scene where he's at a party, he gets a little too wasted, he's trying to hit on a girl, he falls over a balcony and stumbles across his next clue, and and that's your payoff right there. It kind of sets up well, and then there's this nice comedic finish when Russell Crowe finds him and is like, "Are you fucking wasted?" as they're dumping the dead body.
Yeah, that is good.
And they dump it on a dinner party by accident, which I think is in the trailer, by the way.
I guess one thing that's really interesting about the movie to me is that it has this classic and timeless feel, like kind of already in a way. It's hard for me to say this is going to be one of the best movies ever made. I almost don't think that, but it feels very well crafted. It's like it's the kind of movie I almost describe in the vein of maybe Baby Driver, but also like movies like Back to the Future, where it's hard to say that they're like these fucking Citizen Kane best movies ever made.
Exactly.
They're just good movies that almost anyone can enjoy.
It's good. It's a good movie that's going to stand the test of time, and unfortunately, it didn't do amazing at the box office.
Yeah,
but it's going to stand the test of time because you know what? I'm sure that when Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3 gets played out on late night movie television,
already has been.
Fucking, I did see it on television the other day actually, but actually twice. Anyways, but as soon as those get played out, The Nice Guys will be the movie that replaces it because it is a really neat buddy comedy, and I think that is the heart and soul of the movie. It's not the depth of plot. It's not the necessarily huge cliffhangers and it's no Shutter Island or Citizen Kane or the Goodfellas.
Shutter Island? You're putting Shutter
I don't
Island
mean to put them in the same boat. I was just thinking of like cliffhangers at the end.
That's a good point. No, it's the kind of thing though where it almost feels like style over substance, but it's not quite. It's not quite there.
Right.
In a lot of buddy cop comedies, it's the opposite attracts kind of idea, where it's like one person is clearly more opposite than the other. But I think where this movie succeeds is that they're not that different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're relatable enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and
or at least they like kind of overlap in at least one area.
Well, and I think a lot of it seems almost like it almost seems as if Ryan Gosling is a younger version of Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe is almost more like a more learned version of him.
Right, where he's seen the hardships a little bit more.
And it kind of feels that way at the beginning, but then come the end of the film, you realize that they're both very different people, and you've learned to grow with each other and understand that. But I think that's why it's successful, because it's not like take a Rush Hour where you have like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, where they're these complete two different people from opposite sides of the world, and they're coming together to fight together, and they find commonality, and it's sweet and it's heartfelt, but automatically you get like that separation, but here there's a bit more
contrast,
of a there's a bit more of a connection from the get-go in a way, because they both live kind of grimy lifestyles.
It's more believable that they came together.
Yeah, and that's what's really good about this, is everything's really confined in the LA 1977 LA that they weave, and I mean that's,
which by the way is well introduced. I mean, we had to question ourselves a couple of times and kind of fact check it, but it does make sense and it is taken care of well. I do also want to mention that in a lot of buddy cop comedies, sometimes the plot is not everything, and it almost makes me want more. It's like I want to see more of these characters doing plots that are similar to this, where they're not amazingly like deep or super meaningful, but I just want to see them solving more crimes. Like, it feels like it could have its own TV spin-off in some ways, kind of the feeling I get from it.
That's kind of what I don't like, to be honest, because I'd rather see this in a television format. Like, if it was a television format, a serialized television show, I think it's fantastic. But I'm being presented a film, and in that way, I'm expecting some level of excellence in terms of the plot.
Right, but then there's this other question that's like Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, them doing a TV show, probably a little bit less likely. And I think that their performances together carries a lot of this movie.
I do.
In some ways.
I think that's how a television show would succeed. I think a television show would be a great idea, but if I'm just judging just this movie, not the hypothetical television show,
right?
It's like the plot's the worst part of the movie. You know?
I agree with you.
And it's not even necessarily like a bad plot. It's like there's far worse plots out there. That's for sure. It's just very stale. There's nothing to it. There's no meat on the bones. You know.
Yeah, it's very much the kind of secondary part. You really are left wanting to see more of the characters, and the things they do in the movie are less important. But overall, it still is a really great movie.
Yeah, and like, I mean, building on like the 70s feel, like, I mean, I mentioned the first half, the costume design is unreal. I definitely noticed the music was so enjoyable this time around.
That's something I didn't even pick up on. I wasn't also, I mean, again, it was a little bit late at night.
Well, the music was like this, like, kind of like this funk-infused, like, mysterious vibe reminiscent of like a 70s, like
a fucking Scooby-Doo kind of.
Well, not as hokey as that, more like even like the Munsters or something, or like even like Cheers to a degree or something like that. Like it didn't feel far off from something that was made in the 80s or 90s, but yet it made sense in the context of this movie.
Right.
And I really liked that. It was like this like soft kind of jazz, like it was almost like a better version of what they were trying to do in La La Land with like Ryan Gosling's parts in a way.
Right.
Like whenever he was on screen, it was always like this jazzy thing in the background, which worked. But in here, it made more sense, kind of.
Because of the setting.
Yeah, because of the setting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I liked that. And one thing I wanted to bring up, I guess, was the color palette is really successful, and also the way the film's graded.
I agree with you absolutely.
Because it's this like
earthy 70s tones almost.
Yeah, but it's also kind of washed out. Like it's, where did I write this here?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I noticed that the most, I think, when they go and check out Sid the kid's burnt down house, and when that little kid rides his bike up. I think that's where I noticed the color palette the most.
Even when they're like, all the action scenes, I find they have this kind of like more washed out tone where like there's these bright colors, but there's almost like a fade on the thing, like a fade like
right,
filter.
like at the party. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's super reminiscent of like Avengers films, and like a lot of Hollywood movies these days have the exact same color palette, but that feels tired a lot of times nowadays.
Yeah.
Talk about it all the time. But in this film, it seems like a good use of it because it adds to that feel. It almost feels like there's like a mock grain to it.
It's
like there's a grain in the film or something like that. And I mean, if you were even just like to strip the audio and strip the dialogue from this film and just show stills, it would seem like a believable 70s film brought to you present day. And there's a few things that mention that too, or like they talk about Pocahontas, and like we were kind of laughing at the fact that
because it just would have came out back then.
No, not quite. Pocahontas came out like 93.
Oh.
But like she's a real life person, of course. So people, I mean, you could look in history books and bring up who Pocahontas is, but I would argue that like a 70s porn star probably wouldn't dress up as Pocahontas to a gathering just for the hell of it. Yeah. You know, there's these small little things that still make it feel of the day, even though it's so embedded in 1977.
Right.
And that actually I really like it. It's not like in your face. It just feels fresh and new.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that rare version of a comedy where all these elements come together where in a lot of case movies these days there's an element that falls short, and whether it's too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen, or whatever it is, too many writers in the writer room.
You ever seen Too Many Cooks?
Too Many Cooks? No, I have not.
Dude, it's like a hilarious little skit from like Adult Swim. I'll have to show you after this, and I'll link it in the show notes. It's great. Sorry to cut you off there, but that shit's hilarious.
I'm glad we stopped for that.
Dude, honestly, Too Many Cooks, like you're gonna.
Okay, all right.
You're like on it now.
Now I'm hyped for this. Should we fucking... No, we're not going to watch it now.
I know. But you should actually check it out. It's good. I'm being honest.
Okay. I will check it out.
I'm not just saying because it's good.
Are you done?
Trust me, I'm not. Kidding.
Are we okay? Fuck. I don't even remember. I don't know what happened, but all the elements
that... about the 70s and the way that things work. I mean, this is really the biggest charm of the film, right? Like,
yeah, the fact that so many different elements came together to make a good movie, which is rare to see in present day, especially with superhero movies, when you've got 20 people sitting in the writer room and everyone has their own direction and ideas, and oftentimes it's conflicting. We're starting to see a couple movies poke through, and in 2016 that was rare, I think, and especially in the genre of comedy. So this is one that sticks out for me in 2016, and I would absolutely put it on my list to even watch a third time.
Damn, that's a high recommendation, and I mean, it's a good starting point for like a trend to go forward. I would think, because we get so many films that are adapted from something, whether it's a TV series, movie, book, board game, whatever the fuck it might be.
Yeah.
I think we just got to go back to making genre films. I think that's fine.
Exactly.
You know, it's like there's already...
Let's get back to our roots a little bit. That's where movies started evolving.
There's already tropes in place for buddy cop movies. There's tropes in place for horror films. There's tropes in place for comedies. You know what? Sure, copy some of those fucking tropes right off the bat, but make them your own. And film's a good example of that. It still feels fresh and original, even though... In reality, it's not, but...
It takes a done idea and has a fresh take on it, and that's more... Excuse me, that's more of what people want to see these days.
And in a comedy like this, or a film like this, it feels natural because the comedy's natural and the chemistry between Gosling and Crowe reigns true on the second viewing. You want to see these two like hang out in real life kind of thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. To the point where I was looking up interviews of the both of them and talking about working together on this film, and that was very interesting too. But I think before we get into giving this guy a rating, should we talk about maybe what it made at the box office?
Well, we brought it up a little in the first half about like how it cost $50 million and made $57, which I mean
likely it broke even, if that.
It probably not in terms of marketing, because like I mentioned, I did see a lot of billboard advertisements when I was on vacation last year for this film.
Right, I forgot you had mentioned that.
So I mean, I'm a little hard pressed to say that it was successful, to be honest with you. But again, we kind of never know because we never get those numbers for advertising and marketing on that kind of stuff.
And it is really sad because whether it broke even or was unsuccessful or didn't break even, I guess, it kind of deserves to in an originality or in a fresh take of a used idea and a genre with tropes that we expect to know, and it does have some very fresh comedic elements to it, and I think the relationship between these characters is awesome. The plot kind of lacks behind, but I'm overall very happy with this movie. I would recommend it. And
have you noticed if it's been on like Netflix or anything lately? Like,
I haven't seen it pop up on Netflix or anything.
You see us on Netflix?
But I think this would be a successful Netflix movie.
I was gonna say, like, this is the kind of movie that I think people back in the day would say that like films got a second life on DVD or on home release. Nowadays, it's like films get a second life on Netflix.
Oh, for sure. It's the largest streaming service in the world, I think, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, no one goes on Hulu. Let's be serious.
But, if I could, I would, honestly.
That's pretty fair. I'm trying to watch Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
It's hard. No, I don't actually know either. Like, I think it would be a film that people would almost consider a hidden gem, you know, or like a very underrated film. It's also shout out to the kid from Palo Alto that's in this movie.
Oh, respect.
That's respect.
Is that what's his name? The projectionist?
Yeah. Have you seen Palo Alto?
No, I haven't, but I've seen trailers.
You should watch it. It's like kind of shitty, honestly, but it's also very charming.
You've got 2 cases and 1 DVD. Is that correct for Palo Alto?
Very correct. Actually, no, I found the DVD recently. I forgot to tell you this.
Oh,
well, actually, someone in my house found it, actually.
Where was it?
So I currently have a second copy of Palo Alto if you just want it.
I mean, let's put it on the shelf.
It's on the shelf. Put it on the shelf, guys. Actually, I think it was there at one point, just in case.
Yeah, and then you were like, "Hey, dude, can I get Palo Alto back? You forgot the DVD." And I was like, "I never opened it or watched it, dude."
Dude, I can't find it anywhere. Just some positives again, like Russell Crowe's actually killing it. He's no longer fighting around the world. He's just in LA doing his thing. I really appreciate that.
Respect for Russell Crowe coming down, I guess, a little bit to reality.
That being said, the only thing, like, there's like 2 things that bug me about this movie is like it's Ryan Gosling is doing that same like suave cool guy routine. He doesn't like 4 out of 5 movies he's in.
But he's clumsy about it. He's a little bit different about it.
Is he though? Like Super Crazy Love, same guy. Big Short, same guy. It's just like, I'm this suave guy, but I got flaws, but you love me anyways because I'm funny. He's just that every time. That being said, I think it's a negative. That being said, I'd say this is his best version of that.
Okay, I think that's fair. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
And then it was nice for me to see La La Land, where he kind of toned that down and kind of found this good middle ground. I really like that. We talked about that like back in the day.
Which is his last 2 performances, which says a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like to see him honestly stray away from this kind of character, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of tired of it. Like seeing Ryan Gosling as like this hotshot, cool, kind of sneaky dude. It was good first, but like I'm fucking tired of it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you know one hotshot cool guy I never get tired of seeing though.
Who's that?
Zac Efron.
Fucking shout out to Zac Efron.
That guy's got it.
Should we say dicks out for Zac Efron?
Dicks out for Zac Efron, dude.
I agree.
Yeah,
that guy's cool. I'm into it. Yeah, and like we mentioned, like the plot's not even that weak. I just think the plot is there for an excuse to utilize the characters and for us to like the characters.
Yeah, the plot is a 3.5, 3 out of 5. The movie, though?
Oh, shit, do we even rate movies on the podcast? I guess we can now.
I think maybe in this case, because I had that epic lead-in, maybe we should do it.
Okay, well, and also it was on your best of the year list last year.
It was on my best of the year list, yeah.
All right, then, sure enough. If you guys want to check us out on Letterboxd, check us out on letterboxd.com/TSV. Daniel, what would you give us out of 5?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, Kyle.
Dang, that's a good
only
rating.
in reference to a couple other choices that I gave 3 out of 5 that I think this exceeds. And because Letterboxd doesn't allow for 0.25s, this guy's going for a 4.
I'm into that. That's actually... That's exactly what I'd give it, 4 to 5. I stand by that. Yeah. I think this film is definitely worth watching on a second time. I'd recommend it to people who've seen it a first time and maybe felt lukewarm about it. Definitely watch it again.
You know what?
It's a good film just to watch on like a nice sunny afternoon, I'd say.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. It's a good movie to have on your DVD shelf to fucking have somebody pick it out, because oftentimes you have a guest over, they want to watch a flick. That's one that I guarantee they probably will not have seen, judging by the box office results and the success of this film. However, it is a hidden gem and it's a good movie to have around.
No, I'm with you on that, man. I think it was good to finally cover this one because we've been talking about doing it for a long time, it was just a fucking refreshing flick to check out. I'm hoping we get something like this coming out in the near future. It'd be nice. But I mean, as always, guys, be sure to check us out on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on SoundCloud. If by the time you're watching this, SoundCloud still exists, because SoundCloud might be shutting down.
We stuff going on. We're not really sure.
We're not too sure. We're getting looking into it just like the rest of the world is.
And as always, if you do like the show, make sure to hit us up on Patreon if you'd like to donate to help us get a new camera and new lights like we've got now. Yes. We do appreciate it deeply. Of course, if you need the money, keep it in your pockets, folks.
But that is patreon.com/thesecondviewing. If you feel so inclined. iTunes, Google Play Music, Sound thing, whatever it's called. That's such a long title.
Whatever that fucking service is. If you can watch podcasts on it, we're there.
That's true. That's very good. Except Spotify. I'm having gripes with those guys lately. I'm trying to get
okay, Spotify is giving us a little flack. They don't like that long of content unless you're Aziz Ansari, so.
Yeah, honestly.
Overrated.
Yeah, right? I'm going to say it. Fuck Aziz Ansari.
I don't like the guy anymore. Randy can fuck off, dude.
Yeah, fuck. It's Randy. Anyways, let's get out of here. But one last thing, guys. Can we get a shout out to our boy Dad? It's his birthday right now. Mac, that's where you clap too very loud. Thank you, everybody. Claps for himself. I appreciate that.
Dicks out for D. Mace, as they always say.
That's where we're going to end it. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.